coming at you live where the gridiron grows. This is the Alexander Scoop Jones podcast. Breaking down the GFL news coming fast. From Gwinnett County, we shine that light. Ton new football, every play, every fight. It's all about the kids. Every pass, every run. We suit up on Saturday mornings, yeah, we bring that fun. So huddle up, y'all. The whistle's about to blow. Let's talk GFL and let the good times roll.
Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, we've got the intel, the game recaps, all the notes from week 5, GFL 10-year-old football. And this week, this is really where things started to separate. We took that whole pile of sources, maybe, nearly a dozen game results, detailed reports, and we've boiled it down for you, this deep dive. It's your shortcut to understanding the big shifts, the playoff picture shaping up, and some real drama last weekend.
Yeah, week 5 was definitely the separation point. We're past the halfway mark now, and you can really start to see the gap, between the championship contenders and the teams just hoping for a playoff spot.
Yeah.
So our mission here is to get beyond just the scores. We want to connect these, 10 results, connect them to the divisions, and really pinpoint where the pressure's building for week 6.
All right, let's dig into this high-stakes weekend, and we have to start where the biggest fireworks were, right? The games with the undefeated teams. The source is called Buford-Gold versus Norcross, the first Dynasty matchup of the week. And, it makes sense. Both teams were flying.
It really did start like a classic defensive battle, which, that's what happens when you get two really well-coached teams at this age. Neither team could really get much going offensively. Not until Norcross made a really critical mistake, a costly fumble. Turned it over deep.
And Buford-Gold, the Wolves, they showed that killer instinct, didn't they?
Oh, yeah. Jumped right on it.
Capitalized immediately. An explosive, quick touchdown. That's sort of the mark of a great team, isn't it? Turning a defensive gift into points, just like that.
But hang on, this is where it gets interesting. Norcross didn't just roll over.
Oh.
No, they answered right back.
Yeah.
Like immediately after Buford-Gold scored. A big touchdown run of their own. Straight after the kickoff.
Wow. So that suggests Norcross has some real fight in them, even if maybe they didn't finish strong.
It does. It shows tremendous mental toughness.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they don't have the depth yet or the conditioning, but they can answer.
But wait, if they answered immediately, does that maybe hint that Buford-Gold's defense isn't quite locked down yet? Or is that momentum just temporary?
That's a really good point. It kind of suggests Buford-Gold relies more on those explosive plays, that powerful run game, maybe not yet on grinding out clock with defense. But ultimately, the sources say Buford-Gold's depth started to tell in the second half. Their power running just wore down the Norcross D-lines.
Okay.
They got the win 20-12, scored on back-to-back drives late to seal it.
So Buford-Gold stays perfect 5-0, showed they can win even when it's not pretty, and now they've got Parkview next week, another big test.
Yep. And we saw a similar high stakes in the South Division. Collins Hill versus North Gwinnett. This is Collins Hill saying, we own this division.
And they certainly made that statement, a shutout, right? 19-0 against a good North Gwinnett team.
They scored like every way possible, too.
Yeah, started with that surgical passing touchdown, just 7 yards.
Exactly. That's what makes Collins Hill so dangerous. They're versatile, which is rare, at this age. They don't just run. Then second quarter, boom, interception return, pick 6. Yeah. Defensive points.
Adding salt to the wound.
Right. And then just before halftime, they hit him with a bomb, like a 40-plus yard pass. Just sealed it.
So that 19-zoo win really cements their control of the South, forces teams to defend everything.
Totally. They're the team to beat there, no question.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. If those games showed some finesse and capitalizing on mistakes, this next batch seems like pure grit and chaos. Lots of turnovers defining these.
Yeah, now we're talking about that Buford-Green versus Grayson-Gold game. A real pressure cooker. Both came in 3-2. Both knew they had to have this one for the South Division race.
And it was just wild, back and forth. Grayson-Gold starts fast, big rushing TD.
Right out of the gate.
But then the momentum just kept swinging, score tied at 13-all, then tied again at 19-all.
Total whiplash. It was clear both teams could move the ball, could score. But neither could really hold on to the lead or maybe even the ball consistently.
So what was the decider? Another turnover?
Predictably, yes. A late one. Grayson-Gold was driving, fourth quarter, trying to break that 19-19 tie. Drive stalls, and there's this controversial tackle maybe, leads to a fumble deep in their own end.
Ouch. That's gotta hurt.
Yeah, it gifted Buford-Green the win. They just punched it in from the 3-yard line. Final score, 25-19.
So Buford-Green gets to 3-2, shows some toughness. But that late fumble for Grayson-Gold, what does that signal for them? especially heading into a tough stretch.
It's definitely a red flag. A talented team, no doubt.
Yeah.
But struggling in the clutch right before hitting this 3-game gauntlet, that's tough.
Gauntlet starting next week with North Gwinnett.
Exactly. They need to figure out that late-game execution, and fast.
We also need to mention the Duluth versus Dacula game. That sounded like a real war of attrition.
Oh, absolutely. A defensive showcase. Scoreless first half. That tells you everything about the effort from both defenses. Just pure grit.
Duluth finally breaks through late third quarter.
Yep. Punched it in to go up 7-0. But Dacula, to their credit, they fought back. Made it 7-6. Really close. But Duluth found another gear. Scored again late from in close. Pulled away 14-6. Big first win for Duluth. Got to feel good for them.
Okay, let's hit some of these other results, the blowouts. And one game with some really important context, Archer just dominated Seckinger.
42-6. Archer ran wild. 6 rushing touchdowns. Just a clinic on the ground.
So Archer moves to 3-2?
Yep. And that sets up a massive game for them next week against Mountain View. Huge playoff implications there.
Meanwhile, winless Seckinger has to travel to face Grayson-Green, the defending champs. Oof.
Yeah, tough sledding for them.
And Lawrenceville-Black also had a dominant win, 33-0 over Berkmar. Looked balanced, running and passing TDs.
They did. 3 rushing, 2 passing. Solid performance. But like you said, the context around this game is really important. Crucial, actually.
The roster situation for Berkmar.
Exactly. The sources were clear on this. Berkmar started the game with only 13 players. 13.
Wow.
And then with injuries, the heat, by the fourth quarter, they were down to only 9 players able to continue.
So they had to call the game.
They did. Called it early in the fourth. Player safety has to be the priority there.
That Berkmar detail really grounds things, doesn't it? It's a reminder that sometimes at this level, it's not just about the X's and O's. It's about having enough healthy bodies.
Absolutely. It highlights just how thin rosters can get, especially deep into a tough season. The officials and coaches made the right call quickly based on safety protocols.
So Lawrenceville-Black gets the win, moves to 3-2, but now they run straight into undefeated Collins Hill next week. Another huge matchup.
Massive. Okay, rounding out the dominant scores. Parkview didn't waste any time against Mill Creek.
No kidding. They had the opening kickoff TD called back by a penalty.
Right.
And still scored on their very first offensive play, a 68-yard run.
Yeah, talk about setting the tone. They put up 3 touchdowns just in the first quarter, rolled to a 35-0 win.
So Parkview's now 3-2, and they get Buford-Gold next. That's a major test to see if they're really contenders.
Huge test. And quickly, the defending champs, Grayson-Green. Easy work against Gainesville, 39-6. Still perfect, 5-0.
No surprises there.
And Mountain View looked really sharp, too. Dominated Lawrenceville-Gold 35-0. Got started early with a block punt leading to their first score. They look strong at 4-1.
Okay, so 10 games down, chaos, shutouts, tight finishes. Let's pull it all together. Where do these divisions actually stand now? What's the playoff picture looking like for you, listener?
Right. Let's break it down. In the North Division, it's pretty clear at the top. Buford-Gold leading the way, 5-0. Norcross is right there at 4-1.
Yeah.
Then you have that key middle group, Parkview and Brookwood, both sitting at 3-2. They're battling for those playoff spots.
And the South Division, the one everyone called the meat grinder before the season.
And it has absolutely lived up to the hype. Collins Hill is running the table 6-0, clearly in control. North Gwinnett's solid at 4-1.
But then,
yeah, the real story is that logjam right below them. Buford-Green, Grayson-Gold, and Lawrenceville-Black are all knotted up at 3-2.
3 teams fighting for maybe 1 or 2 spots.
Essentially, yeah. They are basically playing playoff elimination games from here on out. The pressure there is immense.
Okay, and finally the East Division.
East Division. Grayson-Green, the champs, look unbeatable at 5-0. Mountain View's looking really good at 4-1. And then Archer is right in that mix at 3-2.
Which makes that Archer versus Mountain View game next week absolutely critical.
Hugely important. If Archer pulls off the upset there, suddenly the East gets very interesting at the top for seeding.
So week 6 is stacked. Let's highlight the 4 games you absolutely have to track if you're following the playoff race.
Got it.
1, Buford-Gold, undefeated, against Parkview. The 3-2 hopeful trying to prove they belong.
Big one in the North.
2, Collins Hill, the 6-0 giant, facing 3-2 Lawrenceville-Black. Sources mention this is a rematch from when these kids were like 6 years old. Adds a little spice.
Wow, long memory there. Okay.
3, that massive East Division clash we just talked about. 4-1 Mountain View versus 3-2 Archer.
Could decide the division runner-up.
And 4, Grayson-Gold needing to bounce back, facing that immediate pressure test against 4-1 North Gwinnett in the South.
Yep. So the big picture, it's pretty clear now. You've got three dominant, undefeated teams leading the pack. Buford-Gold, Collins Hill, Grayson-Green. They look like championship favorites. And that South Division logjam at 3-2, it's forcing these incredibly high-pressure games, testing late-game execution. It guarantees we're going to see some intense football down the stretch.
Yeah, what really strikes me looking at all this is how the drama in youth football is just as real, just as intense as the pros. But sometimes it's about different things, right?
Totally.
Like a single fumble turning a whole game upside down in that Buford-Green Grayson-Gold chaos, or the really tough situation with Berkmar dealing with heat, roster depth, basic safety. It shows every little thing matters.
It really does. And look, if you're tracking just one storyline going forward, maybe make it this one. Grayson-Gold. They're sitting right in that dangerous 3-2 logjam we keep mentioning. And next week, they start that 3-game gauntlet we talked about. North Gwinnett first, then Mountain View. Then they finish the season against Collins Hill.
Wow, that's brutal.
It's an absolute murderer's row. They probably need to win, what, 2 of those 3? Maybe even all 3. So the question we have to ask is, if Grayson-Gold drops a couple of those games, how fast can a team that looked like a solid playoff contender just unravel, especially in the toughest division? Keep an eye on that.
Yo, it's your man, Alexander Scoop Jones, coming at you live where the gridiron grows. This is the Alexander Scoop Jones podcast, breaking down the GFL news coming fast from Gwinnett County. We shine that light, ton new football, every play, every fight, it's all about the kids. Every pass, every run, we suit up on Saturday mornings, yeah, we bring that fun. So huddle up, y'all, the whistle's about to blow. Let's talk GFL and let the good times roll.